We're live.
Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Let the madness begin. William Coleman, Marshawn Taylor, and I could say congratulations.
That's right.
The hat's ugly, the team's ugly. The coach is a white girl lover, but
Dude, oh, that just sound like a lot of hate, brother. A lot of hate.
nah, but all in fairness, that was a wonderful game.
Yeah, it was an excellent game for our first half.
They really came out to play, and if Hubert Davis wins, and I was really thinking about this, outside of John Thompson, what other African American coach has won a national championship?
Nola Richardson.
Okay,
from Arkansas, he won too.
Right.
I think that's really. If I stand corrected, yeah, I think that's only it. Only three. It'd be the only three. Only
right.
Yeah, as far as I can remember. Yeah.
So this is and the way we're both looking at it, so it's been since the 90s.
Yeah, that's it. Yep, mid to late 90s.
Yeah. So
what's that? My man's name, the big ugly, what is Corliss Williams?
Oh yeah,
that's what they called him. Big Nasty. That was his name. Big Nasty.
You said big ugly.
Yeah, he was ugly. He was ugly though.
So that's one thing I'll say about tonight's game is the fact that Hubert Davis can be the first African American coach of North Carolina to actually win a championship. He's the first African American coach of North Carolina and still win a national championship.
His white wife.
His white wife.
His white.
He loved it. And you know what? I love the fact that he loved her. Own it. Love it. Hey, love is love. I was just messing with him on that. But I just, I have to congratulate y'all,
Right.
And I will stick to what I said. Whoever won that game will win the national championship. And I still feel that way.
I agree.
I believe that I personally think that was a national championship game.
Yeah, man. I was hoping Villanova we'd beat the brakes off. I was so hoping get a revenge for that shot. Dog, I wanted that so bad. I tell people don't understand. I wanted Villanova. I even though, it still would have been fair, but I still wanted Villanova revenge that loss, that one shot.
I understand.
Man, we be at 7 already. Working on number 8.
Yeah. God. Yeah. So now y'all go. I believe y'all win.
Yeah.
I still stick with my original statement. Fuck North Carolina, but in the fairness,
gotta grow up, my son.
The state I have to represent and say,
that's right.
I hope they win.
That's right. See, when they get to number 10, when they get that 10th one in the next 5 years, you gonna have to become a North Carolina fan. You be rocking the Carolina blue. I'm gonna send you a whole packet.
Like Jordan did.
Yeah,
Jordan sent the team.
Exactly.
That was what's up. I really.
Yeah. So you think about it, that the team he had with Kendall. Kendall
Marshall.
Kendall Marshall and them. He said he's like, hey, y'all get to the Final Four, y'all get to whatever y'all get whatever you want. They didn't make it to the Final Four though.
And he was actually a good point guard. Kendall,
he just came out too early.
Yeah.
But I mean, you look at the history of. Well, first of all, I want to say this: it's the end of the Coach K era. Regardless of how people, no matter how you want to look at it, it was his era. The minute he stepped in, up until now, it was his era. He came in the middle of the time when it was Dean Smith's, reign. Bill Guthridge.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That other coach, Roy Williams.
He exists. That other coach exists.
Other coach, the coach that we don't speak of. Him. That guy. Yeah. Up until now, man. Yeah, you think about it. Yeah.
Let's, outside of the coach that y'all don't mention,
right?
Every North Carolina coach has won a national championship.
Exactly.
That's pretty
cool.
Cool.
Even the one prior to Dean Smith, I think. Yeah. Frank McGuire. But this is before they had tournaments and everything. This was they voted. Basically they voted, and he was undefeated, and depending on your wins, he was a national champion. So I mean, we have so pretty much every.
That's actually
think about it. So now we're on that. Question is, because you had a brief discussion about this. Now this is a new era and your new coach. Do you think he's going to have? Because you think about it, that's a lot of time, Coach K, to build the program for 40 years, and that's a hell of a legacy.
Yeah,
5 national championships alone. Now, when you expected to keep up, to maintain the standard of recruiting, winning, coaching as Coach K, even though I think y'all had better candidates, black or white or whatever.
I agree. We had
So,
this talk.
yeah.
I always thought it was gonna be Wojo.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was just like, yo, he was just, is he even still there? That's my question.
No, he's actually coaching somewhere else. I looked it up. He's coaching somewhere else. However, I always thought it was gonna be him.
It should have been him. It was him, Collins, at the least. What's your guy's name? They had the brother that played North Carolina.
Capel. Actually, Capel would have probably been the most one because he has had success.
He's had
so
success.
I was surprised at this one. And to answer your question, I don't think Jon Scheyer understands
exactly
what he's stepping into. Like,
yeah.
And if I look at this team and I look at this team from any other Coach K team, this is probably the first team I've seen where he didn't coach. So I could tell that he was really letting it and
just letting them play, more or less. Give them a few pointers in the play.
That's scary because that's gonna be Jon Scheyer.
Right.
It's ask Calipari how easy it is to get talent. It's always easy to get talent.
Right.
But how many national championships he got out of that talent? One?
Maybe two. Maybe two.
Maybe two.
I think maybe two.
But hands down, within the last 20 years, he has probably had the most talented teams ever assembled in college basketball.
And they've always seemed to falter.
Exactly.
You know, because it might have been two.
Yeah, okay.
I think it might have been two. It was a team that had your boy Anthony Davis, and I think there was a team.
Okay, so Anthony Davis won. Okay.
He was a freshman, and he went pro. And I'm trying to remember the other team. I want to say two
because DeMarcus Cousins came after. Okay, and I think he won a national championship, or did they come up short? Him and John Wall, because him and John Wall was on the same team.
I think they came up short. I don't remember. I don't remember though. But either we'll do our research. Right. Though. We got to do follow up though.
When you look at we always talk about legacy,
right? So and not to cut you off, you look at if you look at Hubie, even though he didn't win at North Carolina, he understands the tradition.
Right.
He's coached. He was there for the last 4 or 5 years, maybe longer than I can remember. I think he went from assistant, like he started at the bottom, started at the bottom, worked his way up to where he is now. That's the thing. Because I even thought they was gonna pick up what's my man's name, Pat Sullivan. But even still, because before that guy came on, he was actually in the win waiting, you know. But and drunk ass Phil Ford too. But yeah, so.
Y'all don't speak of him either, but it's okay.
He's still one of the greatest scorers in the history of our school, though. So I mean, he has
I'm not going to lie.
I'm pretty sure he's on the campus somewhere with some kind of job, raking leaves or something. I don't know.
You know what's funny?
Chasing students.
You might be right.
With a whiskey bottle in his hand. I don't know.
It's crazy because that legacy is going to be on his shoulders, and will he have the same grace period as Coach K? No,
that was my question.
The game has changed.
Right.
However, I wonder if they do that, are they going to keep it in the family? Because North Carolina has built a tradition of hiring in-house. Now, Duke has produced coaches. Duke has also produced general managers, i.e. Trajan Langdon. So, could he ever step back into the program?
But I would think in that circumstance, I wouldn't have him step as a coach if they needed an AD.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Same thing like Danny Ferry or something like that. You know,
I think you should get Wojo come back. I think Wojo
should have been the one.
He should
have been the one.
I saw it, I just could not see
because he fell in that line of Danny Hurley. He fell in them line of guards. You know, he fell in that tree. Right. Unlike Scheyer, he really wasn't in that same bloodline as the Ferries and Wojo.
So it's funny you bring that up because Wojo wasn't at Coach K last game.
I wouldn't be there either. You think, well, in a sense, I can see why.
I think it's so bad, but I think it's so bad
because you think about it. Every time we saw a game, who was right there underneath him?
Him and Collins walking back and forth, and forth.
Exactly.
In fact, I think they graduated just to be his assistant coaches, just that transition.
Right.
So it's
come on, man.
Interesting.
You think about it. If he's coaching you up, he's mentoring you up to be in his bloodline. You know, because you think about it, I barely forgot Shire was on the team. I thought it was just some random person he picked out. You know,
No, and for the record, he won a national championship.
and that's the only reason why they think. And just because he was part of the team, he wasn't a who was
actually he was our he moved over to our point guard.
Right, I remember that.
But
who was your guy though? Who was your guy though? I can't remember. Who was your guy?
He was on that team.
He was on that team. See, obviously, and then why you pick somebody? Yeah, I'd have picked somebody before that class because that team
they wasn't expected to win.
Yeah, they weren't expected to win, and they were okay. I mean, they weren't bad, but they were okay.
I say they were competitive. They were less talented than this team, but they actually won when it counted.
Yes, and that's what I say that. I was going to say that. I think these last 4 or 5 teams that y'all had were probably better than that team. You know, and those teams and the teams I'm saying they were pretty decent, but I think those teams in a real competitive game could have beat that team there.
Right.
You know, I like I said, I give it to him. Like, and he started out coaching, and I think he's a good coach at the time in his earlier career. But once he developed a system because of how the game changed, it kind of like he recycled, you know, pretty much the same player,
right,
more or less. But I mean, you win, you know.
Oh, you got to. I mean, I always said this is why you could tell the last couple of years. I could tell Coach K was having enough. Because number one, you playing with the devil when you playing with one and dones.
Right.
You're playing with the devil. Right. Because you lose so much when they go. And almost every year we lose a point guard. Right. From Kyrie. No matter what people think about Austin Rivers, he was decent. And he's the decent player.
I like him better than like Kyrie.
Okay, that's fair.
I like him better than Kyrie. And it's not a personality thing. I just like he plays more. You can tell his dad coached him.
Right.
He plays more in the traditional way of how the game is played.
Okay, that's fair.
In a sense. As opposed
to Seth Curry. I mean, of course, Parker, unfortunately, injuries. Right. And then Okafor. So, and then the Jones brothers. So, I mean.
And don't forget the other brothers. They had 4 brothers.
You're talking about the Plumlees.
The Plumlees, yeah.
I mean, so.
Fucking Plumlees.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting to look at them, to look at this team. Now, next season is going to be a interesting season.
It is.
Because.
They're going to be expected. If he keeps the same team, they're expected to come back, of course, and expected the same results. But they got to understand.
But I'm gonna say something, and this is a Pablo Banchero, which is our forward. Every game I watch him play in, I always ask, how did he end up with 17, 18, 20 points? I never understood how he did it.
But you watch how he was scoring though, just like my man John too. Remember, tell you every time
John got
it was like every time they fake a pick and pop, he hit him with the pass, dump it to him, he dunks it every time. I was like,
the only other person that I have ever had that same mystery about was Harrison Barnes.
Yeah,
I have
or Anton Jameson.
Yeah, Anton I was like, it was like, and it made me realize something. The game comes so easy that they have never developed their full potential.
Right.
And that's how I always felt about Harrison Barnes. I was like, Harrison Barnes scores 20 points and you can't figure out how he scored it.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like he's trying. Yeah. And I think has always been his problem in the pros. Yeah. People like, I don't see him playing hard, but he's got 20 points. Right. Right. So, and I think Banchero's the same way because I was watching him and I was like, how's he still the leading scorer?
Right.
Like I haven't
you was like you don't call him
like
he get a couple of baskets, but damn, he scored that many baskets.
I'm looking at Mike Williams killing it out there. And I'm like, but Banchero leading the score. I'm like, okay,
it's
so
weird. It's a weird era. Like you said, you just watch him like, okay, they're playing the game, but when did he score? I know he scored 4 or 5 baskets, but how you doing 30? Oh, okay, well, he got 30 points.
But so now we're gonna go ahead and slide to the main event.
What we talking about? We took our very strong conversation we had last week.
Okay, we could do that.
Oh, so, no. What else you could say?
No. That's what we're gonna do it. Okay. So I always say it's a conversation that has multiple conversations involved.
Right. True.
The Thanos slap.
That'll it's not the snap, the slap, huh? Where everybody go? Did half the world disappear?
Yep.
Right.
First off, let's go ahead and get the I guess the easiest fruit off the table.
Right.
Was it necessary?
Ooh. After my conversation, I really thought about it. But let's go with my original thought. No, it wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary. And my reason wasn't necessary, for one, initially you laughed at the joke. You laughed at it. You reacted according to how your wife reacted to how you laughed at the joke. Remember, they show the camera at her, she rolled her eyes. When they showed him laughing, they showed her rolling her eyes. But like I said, when he was laughing, he was looking away. He didn't look at her. He wasn't looking at her.
Right.
He was looking, laughing like, hey, buddy, you know you funny, cute, whatever, whatever. And they pan over her, she rolling her eyes. That's how I did it, right?
Right. No.
Right. So I'm pretty sure after she looked at him, everything changed. They didn't show that part, but everybody that spoke about it, that was there, pretty much said like, am I make sure I'm correct? Said like he looked over at her and
that's when everything.
That's when everything changed. The whole mood changed.
So the internet is funny,
right?
So there's an episode of The Fresh Prince when it was whatchamacallit, does George Jefferson, I forgot his name,
Sherman Hemsley.
Sherman Hemsley. He was on there, and they were in couples therapy or something like that. And Sherman Hemsley had cracked a joke on Will's girl.
Oh yeah.
And then Long looked at him. He was laughing, and he looked at him, and he was like, oh.
Yeah.
They said that's what Jada did. So, like you, I revisited twice.
Right.
I still stick with my first, and I can't tell a man how to defend his family.
True. What you did say when we had our conversation.
Yeah. Right. But I have looked at it and I said, where I think Will went wrong, of course, a slap.
Right.
Is he overcorrected his mistake.
Okay, I can see that.
If he didn't laugh, he doesn't go on stage.
Right.
But because he laughed,
right,
he had to go on stage. I take that back. He didn't have to go on stage.
No, but he chose. He made the decision.
He chose.
Didn't think twice about it. He just
and that part is what's the alarming part, because you overcorrected because you felt guilty of laughing at her.
Yeah. And laughing at a joke about her. But in a sense, you say it's about her.
Right. Now, I'm under the mindset that, and we had this talk in class tonight. Right. When is a joke not a joke?
I like that question. But what was your answer? What was your answer though? So let me hear y'all responses.
So everybody was like, and full closure, I'm in a class with no but black women from all different ages. Like I'm the only male.
Really?
Yes.
Let me know that class.
I'm in a class with all black women. All black women. And it's all colors of the rainbow.
What were they saying?
So it's funny because there actually is a divide. It's a joke.
Right.
And that's what a lot of people say. It's just a joke. They're comedians, this and third. And then I proposed the question. I said, well, jokes were meant because it was like they would sue him. And I said, well, just like Chris Rock has to live with the fact of being slapped forever, Will Smith has to live with the joke being forever.
Right.
So both of them actually have the same activating event.
True.
And it's a mixed bag because, a lot of people are like, Jada should have stopped him. And I said something that I think a lot of people don't understand. It's Will Smith.
Right.
When you see Will Smith walking towards you, you don't
know what's going to happen.
Scared. You don't get scared.
That's basically what Chris Rock was like. Like, okay, they're friends. Like, okay, when Chris, and remember I told you on the phone, like you watch the times he came up on stage randomly. It's always a happy-go-lucky thing. Like him and Jim Carrey had a thing on the MTV Awards every time. They always was going back and forth, joking. Happened to when one went up on stage, when the other get in the water, and they always. So you always like, and if people don't understand that, it's like, well, if I was Chris Rock, I would have been, but he wasn't expecting that.
No, he wasn't. So here's
he's probably thinking maybe he would just go along with the joke or whatever, or he might have said something, you know.
So this is what I want to propose because it's something else I
Right.
thought about too.
Go ahead.
Do you think the slap wouldn't have been as powerful if Will didn't sit back down and yell at him? Because the way Chris Rock kept moving,
Right.
you thought it was staged until Will.
That's what everybody thought too.
Until Will was yelling out. So Will never said anything
right
after the slap
and showing his expression. Yeah,
then maybe we
they
still had that issue,
but yeah,
but
it's still have been in the air if that was a joke, if that was for real. And I think you're right. And the thing about it is, maybe Will shouldn't have said anything, and then maybe it wouldn't, because in a sense, it could have looked staged. You know, because and remember I told you, Chris Rock's part wasn't scripted. The thing people understand, he was going off the hip, like he's supposed, like that's why he was one from the hip. The other two comedians, the hosts, were more scripted than his was, and he did what any comedian would do when they come in, they start warming up.
Easy target.
The crowds, boom, 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 and like somebody I heard somebody say, this is Hollywood, so you automatically a target. You're in Hollywood. You're part of that, right?
But my issue, and I guess this is where I always say, everybody's a target. However, sometimes I shouldn't pull the trigger on this.
But it wasn't malicious, and that's what people don't understand. It wasn't malicious.
Okay, I like that.
It wasn't malicious.
I agree with you. I don't think
it wasn't malicious.
However, does that mean it wasn't malicious because he said it, or how it was interpreted?
Both.
Okay, so you think it was interpreted wrong?
I think it was interpreted wrong.
By who?
Jada Pinkett Smith. Because you think about it, he only reacted off of how she reacted.
So here's the question. And no matter of fact, the question you asked me,
right,
which is going to be the meat of this, is is it a toxic situation?
Go ahead.
I will say this. It probably was toxic.
Okay.
Which is why he overcorrected. I don't think it's toxic now.
Wait a minute. So make sure you correct me. You saying it's not toxic because he slapped Chris Rock.
No.
So make sure
I think that was the leftover residue.
Okay, I got you. Situation. I got you. Okay, so you more or less go ahead. I like the other thing you said. Let me think. Go ahead, finish.
Because in his speech, he spoke about being in a new place and understanding family and this other. Think about a man who's been married, let's give him 20 years, understanding family. So what I'm learning in that moment, what I learned was he looked at that situation with August Alsina, and I think that he realized it can't work no more.
Right.
And I think he has been doing some soul searching. Because if you think about it, if I'm not mistaken, this is their first time in public together.
I think so.
In a long time.
Right.
So there's been a lot of things that has happened behind the scenes that we don't know about. Because Will be on Instagram by himself. He be in countries by himself.
Yeah.
He be all over it. Like Will really been.
Hey Will, when you Dubai, man, let me know. Give me a ticket. I'll go with you.
And I got spots. And I got a conspiracy theory that I want to throw in too.
Okay, go ahead.
But I think he realized how toxic their relationship was, because even at the end of their Red Table Talk, they said bad marriage for life. Well,
which was weird to me.
Exactly. So now when you think about it, you're like, okay, now Will, he did this movie and he said, this movie inspired him to look at family different things like that. So now he's like, I've been doing things wrong.
So you feel now he decided to fight more for his family as opposed to being Will Smith, the movie stars now. Will Smith, the family man, first, family husband and family man, then star.
Right.
Okay.
So you know what? This is the best way I could put it. Their marriage was like a kid in a candy store. Right. You can have whatever you want. The problem with that is that either you're going to eat till you throw up, you're going to get sick. Or you're going to actually get to a point where you're going to not like candy anymore because you're tired of eating it.
Okay. I like that.
And I believe that that's what happened in their situation. Right. it benefited until it didn't benefit
Fit no more. It was
Right.
start biting him in the ass.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got
And
you.
this situation bit him and bit her.
Yeah, and like I said, it got to the point like people didn't know this situation to the point to where they wanted to put it out there.
Mm.
And like I tell you nowadays, I think that's our problem as a whole, especially in our community, is we feel everybody must know our business.
Right.
We got going on. My son, if you go out there and you have decided to have multiple partners and swing and all that, and I'm not aware of it, I prefer to keep it that way.
I would too.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm out there, you know, I got 4 wives out there that nobody's. I don't need to be broadcasting, which I don't, you know, but I don't need to be broadcasting out there, you know, hey, I got 4 wives, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, because everybody feels nowadays that their life is a TV show. It's the Truman Show. Everybody wants to watch. So they post it on the Instagram, the Facebook, the Snapchat, whatever, thinking that, you know, people are going to. I mean, there might be a couple of people that okay it. You know, some people are going to comment. It's just you do it for the reaction. You get a rush
Right.
off the reaction from other people.
No, you absolutely
You know,
right.
and I think we've gotten to the point now it's just oversaturated with like that now. Because I don't guarantee you, Marshawn, we was live on Facebook right now and I slapped you, Marshawn, whatever.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Everybody, yo, you see it? And I thought they friends. I thought they brothers. I thought, you know, and you know, over and over and over, you know, and we turn around and say, oh, you know, that's a joke, whatever. But by the time he gets to say Willie D, he posts like, yeah, these 2 guys, whatever, they cool, whatever. He just slapped the shit out of him on, you know, and he, you know, but
right.
It's just, you know, people do now, you know, and I think, like you said, it put them in a place because now it's to the point you broadcasting your bumps, your you know, because when people and no, it's said a lot in the military now because perception is everything, and when people perceived her relationship with a question mark with the boy August, you know, nobody really knew what was going on. Were they cool
Right.
with it? You know, hey, you know, he wrote a song and it might have been about her. You know, the mystery behind that, you know, just like you know, like for instance, the Michael Jackson song Dirty Diana is about Diana Ross. Princess Diana, you know, girl Diana from down the street. You know, Dan, you down.
Michael, we don't know because Michael was out there,
right.
boy.
But even still, it's like now it's like we have to have a point of telling everybody what we got going on, whether it's good or bad. You know, and like you said, he kept. And it's like, okay, he might put it out there once, but it seemed like she needed to continue pouring salt in the wound every time.
No, that's
you
where
know,
I'm about to get to my conspiracy theory.
You know, it's like everything from the thing with August Christina, thing about, oh, well, yeah, we allow certain things and I don't ask questions. He don't ask questions. I told you one time I watched the Red Table, she talked about, well, he's not gonna divorce me. We'll just live in the same house on 2 different ends of the house. And what, you know, I was to the point where she put out the way, yeah, Tupac thought we were small, soft, and I was just like, this is your husband, the man that you decided to say I do, then years later decide to go ahead and hyphenate and add his name onto your name. You know, the one that you know, hey, when you try to start your music career, you made sure he would support you, you know, come to your shows, whatever, getting jiggy with it, you know, to have people come to the show or whatnot. I mean, oh, nah. But this is, yeah, I mean, that's how I was looking at it. I mean, that's where I think I got the toxic part from. You know, may not be, and I like what you said. It's like maybe it's the residue. When you told me that, it's more or less they were getting through that patch where it was toxic to now to where it's in a good place, and it kind of took them back to that point. Like, you know what? Nah, you ain't about to disrespect me no more. And he, you know, and just like I said, he went black, and it turned out happened to be he slapped Chris Rock. You know, he should slap August Christina when you know when.
So,
but go ahead with your compare.
So I have my
theory, homie.
I honestly think Jada is trying to sabotage Will, and I've been thinking about this, and because you brought up a great point. Y'all had a understanding, whatever it was, we don't know, But Will never took no one to the Grammys. Will never took no one
Right.
anywhere in public.
Right.
However, people say Will always had, but Will never made it public.
Right.
She was on the red carpet with August Alsina
Right.
in outfits that don't make sense.
Right.
And he's holding her like Will should be holding her. And
Right.
you can't, there's no way on God's green earth you think that that's okay. But
Right.
in Jada mind, and I'm realizing she don't live in our reality. She lives in Jada world.
I can
Because
I can see that.
And in anybody's mind, she would have tried her best to keep it secret, but she thought she had something with him.
Right.
And not realizing that his money can't sustain.
He don't, because you think about it. Will Smith got the long money.
He does.
That make him stop rapping, doing movies. He still got.
That's what I said. When people like,
Yeah.
oh, his career's messed up, unless the
No.
bank is gonna seize his money, he's gonna be good.
Good, yeah.
So I think Jada is because, and I went back and forth with this, and I honestly said, what would I do if my wife made a text about an ex?
Right.
Even though they may say they were good, if she make a text about a friend, a male friend, in a way that looks suspicious, how would I react? I think I'll be divorced, because there's no way you could tell me that you can't keep. Oh, I got this poem from Tupac. Every year is something about Tupac.
Right.
No, honestly, that would be gone. That's number one. So that right there lets me know that. And that's one thing the women talked about tonight. It's like she never respected Will.
No.
And I think that's the other part of the slap was my wife don't respect me.
Right.
So I have to go out here.
And I think that's where I told you about the whole toxic part come from, because like you said, every time it was her and Will in the news, in headlines or whatever, it was nothing positive. It's always something, a back slap from something.
Right.
You know.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because even during the Red Table Talk, she kept pushing it in, pushing it in. And I thought about this. Most people will fail after having to deal with something like that. But Will had the most amazing 2 years after August Alsina.
Right.
Like he was on National Geographic. I mean, he's in Dubai. He did the weight loss challenge. He's just been expanding. And who's fallen off? Jada, who's been in the shadows her whole life. Jada. And I, honest to God, think that she resents Will, because she thought that her career
would take off.
Right. And it has not. And I think
I can see that.
Subconsciously, she is sabotaging Will.
Right.
Because even though we all would not think Will Smith would have done that, she could have grabbed him and said, "Where are you going?"
Exactly.
She could have said no. She could have said something, but
why did she get up there? That's what I'm saying. Why did she carry her little ass up there?
Because I will say this, she is a master manipulator. And I think that's
so she manipulated the situation.
I think she did.
Okay, I get you.
Because if you see someone laughing
at you, or a joke about you, right?
You may be mad, but you may be like, really, really, and then you'll be like, okay, you ain't gonna get nothing tonight, all right?
Right? Yeah, you know.
But she know what
she knows how to push his buttons,
right?
And she pushed that button,
right? So now, I think Will is honestly trying to be in a better place, and I think that I honestly do believe that he will divorce her.
Yeah, it could be possible.
I think either they're going to separate or something, because he can't continue on in this marriage.
Yeah. So he said Denzel said something to him.
Devils. At your highest moments.
At your highest moments. The devil can come at you at your highest moment.
Who's the devil in this situation?
You read my mind, brother. You read my mind. Do you believe
his wife?
His wife is the main one. Now, Chris Rock, in a sense, he was, but That was nothing that he didn't. My thing, and I tell people, he didn't do anything that was not expected of Chris Rock to be Chris Rock.
Okay. You know, I
He wasn't doing anything out of character.
No,
It wasn't our character.
Right.
People gotta understand that wasn't our character. So people gotta understand that was his queen. No, dog, that wasn't out of character. That's one thing. If he'd have called out her name,
okay,
that's something that I can understand.
All right, so I will say this, since we're looking for what it is. Chris Rock played Chris Rock.
Right.
So in that instance, I can't call him the devil because Chris Rock played Chris Rock.
Right.
His job was to crack jokes. Sometimes he's gonna crack jokes on people.
Right. He basically filled the empty space. That's more or
Right.
less what he did.
Jada would be the devil. And I would say this is the biggest reason why. You knew how big of a night this was for your husband.
Right.
If anything, you could have said, you could have did under your breath. Yeah, you're laughing, I'm laughing, you ain't gonna get none. Then you're in the doghouse, but I'm not gonna spoil your night.
Right. True.
She is the devil in this point because out of everybody in this, she's in a win-win situation.
Yeah.
She doesn't lose nothing.
No.
But
she didn't gain anything either.
She didn't gain anything.
And I hope nobody sympathizes with her about that because I know I got plenty of friends with alopecia.
So I got devil's advocate on this one too.
Right.
So, but she didn't gain nothing.
Right.
She didn't lose nothing. But in the biggest moment, you did not have enough self-awareness to stop your husband.
But she did take away. But she took away, even though she didn't lose. She took away.
Like he's lost a lot.
Right.
And that's why I said personally, I think in her mind, she's cool with that because she's seeing him as perfect and she's tired of it. I think she is honestly tired of seeing him perfect.
Right.
So, and my devil's advocate is if Jada Pinkett Smith was dark skinned, will we be having the same conversation?
Oh. So what if it had been Lupita Nyong'o?
I use her as an example,
right?
To this, I
think she's sexy as hell. The bald head.
I do. Oh, my girl from The Walking Dead. Woo!
I'm saying her too. Hey, mess around. We having some chocolate babies.
And I thought about this. I said, if it was a dark skinned woman, I don't think Will would be under pressure as much. I think, and I know a lot of people don't agree with this, but I do believe that because Jada is considered standard beauty, that they don't look at it. That same like for instance, if it was Lizzo, I think people would be more outraged. like Chris Rock said, "Oh, you about to be in the new Norbit movie?" Oh, he's fat phobic and everything.
Yeah.
But because it's Jada,
right?
And some would say, well, you got to think she put her business out there,
right?
And this and third, they're not gonna look at her as protection. She needs protection because she's light skinned. She's Jada. I mean, she went through Hollywood having any men. Look who she's married to. Look who she used to have. And I think that's part of the issue too. I think if she was dark skinned, I honestly do. First off, I don't think he cracks the joke. Fear of.
No, fear of. Okay.
Fear of. So I don't think he cracks the joke. But if he does crack the joke, I think Will Smith is a hero today.
Okay.
I do believe it will be a difference.
Oh, okay. I can see that. I can see your point.
But however,
I can't argue with that.
Someone did bring up a good point: is when you put your business out there, what do you expect?
Exactly. And that's and I think I hope that's a lesson for everybody to understand, because you can't sit there and play the victim, because he could have said any kind of joke.
Yeah.
It could have been a joke about anything. The marriage, the infidelities, or supposedly infidelities, the issues that they have, but the least thing to be, and like I said, alopecia is a very serious, disorder
the
to have,
regulation.
So I mean, but it doesn't make you a victim. You understand?
All right. So
You know,
in closing, let's look at it from reverse. If the joke was about Will when he gained his weight, Will looking like Uncle Phil,
Right.
things like that, would she have went on stage?
No.
If Amy Schumer had cracked the joke about Will, like, yeah, we're using the little tight short, you hold that big belly in this, that, and third,
No.
you think Jada?
No. Nah.
So the protection is where I see the toxicity that you're talking about. I don't think she values the marriage as he values now, and I don't think that she will protect him as he protected her.
And I like what you said, and more or less he hit the reset button and she forgot.
Yeah.
She forgot. Oh, it's the reset? No, we're gonna take it back to the old rules. You need to get you up there and slap that cat.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what she has said, but it's like a look. She probably gonna look like you better do something or say something. And like you said, I don't think it'd have been taken as because as the move was still kind of light until he said what he had said.
Yeah, I think everybody got away with it.
You would have got away with it. A lot of people thought it was a joke because you look in the background over his shoulder was your girl Lupita.
Yeah,
she was like when he said that, her whole expression changed. Like, oh, like he's serious.
Because Chris Rock and honestly, shout out to him. He remained professional and he smiled.
Yeah,
and he said, Will Smith slapped me.
Yeah.
And with a smile on his face.
Yeah.
If Will never said that, this may have blown over and your relationship with Chris Rock may still be done.
Yeah.
But the salvage of respect.
Yeah.
And now both of them lost.
Right.
Even though Chris Rock's sales went up and more people sympathize with Chris Rock. However, now he has to live with the fact of a grown man slapping him. I would rather you punch me. And if you slap me, I have to kill you.
And I kind of can see where Chris Rock kind of, because bring back to experience I had like in high school. There was this cat I really and I was cool with, but I knew we and me and him had a disagreement because I hung with somebody that he used to be cool with and they fell out. But either way, something happened, some property got damaged. My brother somehow got himself in the mix. It's a long story, but so it turned out, well, if my brother wasn't available at the time, he thought he'd get a hold of me. So he decided to walk up at school. We walking because we used to pass each other every day in class, going to class. So as I'm walking, he's talking junk, and I'm walking away. He does one of behind slaps. He ain't doing no Will Smith walk up on me and slap, but he did one of them things and he took off. So by the time I realized what was going on, who did it, a female grabbed me. She said, "No, don't." I'm like, "Well, who?" Well, and I realized it was him laughing. Says, "Okay, fine." Turn on one thing. Well, if he have a problem with it, we can meet him after school. We met up after we did meet up. He gave his little crew, came and jumped me. It took a little quick beat down, whatever. Didn't hurt, but either way. So the next day, I caught him at school. Threw my back down and slapped him back in front of everybody. Everybody went, ooh, then I hit him. But yeah, I got suspended for like 3 days, but yeah. So I can understand where Chris Rock is out of shock. Like, wait a minute, what Chris Rock did? And even though I was trying to respond, I was restrained from being restrained from being to respond. But yeah, it's a thing, and especially for to be another black guy, a black man.
So the last thing, and I'll close out.
Right.
Do you feel as though Chris Rock understood the importance of that moment to restrain himself?
Yeah. And people understand Chris Rock, most comedians are very highly intelligent. And he held it together.
That's why I said if Will Smith never said nothing, that night would have went because Chris Rock didn't bend.
Yeah, he was a little shook a little bit, but he smoothed it over. Like you could tell him, he was shook, but he
understood so
much that fast. Like he was, like, oh, okay, all right. hey, Will Smith just, and everybody was still kind of light.
That's why when he said Will Smith
Just
like if Will would have, if Snap or Jada would have, like, you just got away with something.
Right.
Like, you literally, honestly, just got away with something. However, I think it was because Chris Rock understood the importance
of the moment, of the night.
Yeah, because
of that night.
People, you know, Will Smith about to get, he thought enough of Will Smith.
Right.
To still try to keep it going. And
yeah.
I think that's what's going to really be Will Smith defining moments. The fact that Chris Rock thought more of him than he thought of
himself in that moment. Because he did. And like I said, it took away from everything else. From the minorities out that the awards I'm getting out for the directors.
Yeah.
The documentary, which the Summer of Soul, which is an excellent documentary. I think everybody should watch it. If you have not, please check it out. It is an excellent documentary. It's not too long. It's definitely not real short. It's not too in debt. It keeps a certain. It's an excellent. I watched it when it first came out and I loved it. And I think he's supposedly working on another one and another documentary for something else. I forgot what it is, but I think he's also trying to put one together. Another festival in Harlem in the same.
Oh, that'd be dope.
Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that. So, you know, in the same vein as that, you know, free concert in the middle of Harlem for people to come and enjoy themselves, which it'd be a sight to see.
Yeah,
excellent, but still, like I said, it took a lot away from that night. You know?
So that's what I.
And like I said, we're gonna be talking for this at least a couple more weeks.
Yeah, because you know the fallout is still coming, and
right,
you know if Will gives back his Oscar, I mean,
it's not gonna make a difference.
Yeah,
I keep it.
I would. I told Reggie Bush to his face. They asked me to send back that Heisman. What Heisman?
You better go make you another one.
And, you know, it's sad. I'm like, what Heisman? Right. I ain't got that Heisman on Instagram.
And then still got it. Pose it. Doing the Heisman pose with the Heisman. With the Heisman in my hand.
I stand up there looking like an Oscar with the Oscar in my hand.
I wish you would.
Yeah.
I wish you would come get it.
You thought that snap was bad. You come get it just for me.
Yeah.
All right. So last question. Does this give Will Smith street cred?
No. Let's not talk. Let's leave that out. Don't please no.
Because I always say there's always we always talk about this, and there's a section of the population that likes this.
Now I see what you're saying. But in a sense, no. But at the same time, it shows that he does have that side to him.
Right.
You know, a side that, you know, which probably was always there. Yeah. It's just never been publicly displayed, expressed, or spoken of.
Right.
You know, more or less it's probably seen more behind closed doors than anything. You know, that's probably what his kids have seen.
Yeah.
You know, because I think his kids fear him for real. They're very terrified of him. In a sense,
especially the oldest.
Right.
I think the oldest is because he's more in line than everything else.
Right.
Let's not forget Jaden got emancipated.
Right.
You just don't get emancipated. No. Like that's not something normal.
Right.
Like the courts granted him that.
Right.
We don't know how he got that granted.
Right.
We don't know what. So I do agree with. I mean, it seems like he has a great relationship with all his children.
Right.
However, you know, there are issues, and I think that's why we talked about the toxicity. I think that's what he was trying to clean up.
Right.
So. All right, man. I love this talk. It was great.
Yeah, I know it's been a while, man. So
yeah.
We're back on it, you know, for the time being.
Yeah, we got another one tomorrow night.
Yes. Hopefully, like I said, I hopefully be holding a national championship hat in my hand. That's what we're talking about. The game should be starting here shortly.
Wasting money.
You know,
but they better win.
They better win. I want them to win.
I'm gonna talk junk, but I want them to win.
But we know my comeback's gonna be. You know, my comeback's gonna be the whole time. What? We beat Duke.
That's the suckest part about this whole situation.
Coach K his final game. We beat him, and Cameron, and his final game. Period. We took him out. It was a wonderful game. It was a wonderful game. I had to laugh from the first.
I'm not-
I watched the first half, but then I was trying to make my way back to Charleston in the second half. But yes, it was an excellent game.
I can't deny that.
So
Y'all technically,
But-
y'all could say that we beat y'all in the Final Four.
yeah,
If we never play again in the Final Four, y'all always
we'll have that. That will be the thing. Like
That's why we have to be. Next game has to be the national championship game because I can't allow y'all gonna hold that over our head. We have to.
But my thing, if we played in the national championship and y'all lose, then what's the point then? Then it's
We're
just
not
said
gonna
and
lose
done.
that.
So we said and
We're
done.
not gonna lose that.
So y'all must be bringing back Grant Hill, Christian Leitner, Cherokee Parks, Bobby Hurley, and then at the 2, we'll say Wojo at the 2. You must be bringing all them folks back at their prime.
And Kyrie off the bench.
Kyrie was hurt, so Kyrie's
Zion.
going to be on the bench.
Zion.
Okay, we'll give you Zion. We'll give you Zion.
Okafor.
Okafor, yeah, you bench, and we'll put matter of fact, we'll take out Cherokee Parks. We'll put what's your boy name? Who's the coach? Johnny is his name
Dawkins.
Dawkins. We'll do
Okay,
Dawkins.
that's fair.
We'll do Dawkins. Say to Dawkins.
One day we're going to have the ultimate conversation. Who produced the better college players?
We'll have that talk.
Yeah.
I like how you said that. We're gonna have an excellent talk. But okay, go ahead.
All right. So
We're gonna close it out.
check us out on all forms, from Facebook to Twitter to, of course, YouTube, to exposure.com. You got anything for the people?
No, man, we good. Question, did you ever change the tag on?
Yes.
You really? So it's Vintage Sight and Sound on Instagram and Twitter.
Twitter.
On
Yes.
Twitter. Okay. I got you.
Yes.
So yeah, we're good, man.
All right.
We're working on some stuff, man. Like I said, we will see you again tomorrow. Thank y'all for watching. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to tell your friends, spread the word, and share. Please do.
Yes.
And feedback. We love feedback. And we out.
We're out.